I will give you that in some future day.
The Senate President.
What's happening to him?
President Obasanjo there for you. President Muhammadu Buhari has formally received details of a 2016 budget of change recently passed by the National Assembly for possible assent. Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly matters, Senator Solomon Etayanang, confirmed this while speaking to State House correspondents.
The details, which is the schedule to the 2016 Appropriation Act, has been formally received from the clerk to the National Assembly, and we're transmitting it to His Excellency Mr. President today. The next action is for the constitutional process and timing as limited by the Constitution to begin.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has pleaded for the understanding of Nigerians over their plight on the nation's economy. He made the appeal in Lagos at the Stakeholders Forum on how to move the Nigerian economy forward, organized by Vintage Press Limited. Tela's correspondent Jide Otinfade has that report.
The Vice President says government is not unaware of the hardship being experienced by the people and described this as temporary, stating that the Buhari administration is not relenting in the pursuit of its agenda of making life more meaningful for the people and embarking on programs to boost the economy and create job opportunities for the youth.
Our determination as an administration is firm and unrelenting. We urge Nigerian people to remain patient and indeed expectant. We acknowledge the pains and are concerned by them, which is why we are working diligently to address the tough challenges inherited from the nation's past. As I said at the beginning of this message, the plethora of challenges facing Nigeria could be overwhelming, and with it, the multitude of actions required. We are taking action, and in due course, they will produce satisfying outcomes. For they are born out of a leadership that has no other agenda for the progress and greatness of Nigeria.
Reiterating the commitment of the administration to revamping agriculture, energy, and increased level of security, as well as skill acquisition through quality education, Vice President Osinbajo explained that fighting corruption will still remain key, as government will not condone having public money ending up in private pockets. Other speakers include the host governor, Akiwumi Ambode, Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State, and representatives of Oyo and Ogun states. In Lagos, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Not done with the economy yet, the federal government has been urged to come up with a more direct policy that will put in perspective the economic diversification drive. Chairman House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values, Odebumi Dokun, said that this while speaking to newsmen on some issues affecting the economy. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanem reports.
The present administration has pointed to agriculture, solid minerals, power, transportation, education, direct foreign investment, industrialization and job creation as critical areas of focus in the economic diversification drive.
Nigerians are ready to go and farm. But what are the policy? After going to farm and we're able to get some products produced in farm, how are they going to add value to this farm agricultural product? Are they going to buy this product from farmers? And the government will take it over, pay the money, and do whatever they want to do to the product.
Commending the leadership of the National Assembly for the quick passage of the 2016 budget, Representative Dokun expressed the hope for immediate assent by President Buhari and adequate implementation. While advising Nigerians to be patient with the present economic situation, he urged government to ensure that issues of fuel scarcity, inadequate power supply, and the Almajiri schools in the north are properly addressed. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And to matters of security now, the Nigerian Navy says its forthcoming recruitment exercise is to beef up its personnel to enable the service further battle the menace of maritime-related crimes on the country's waterways. The Navy Secretary Rear Admiral Ferguson Bobai gave this indication during an exclusive interview with defense correspondent Keji Busari Ahmed.
Crude oil theft, piracy,
sea robbery, and other maritime-related offences have continued to constitute threats to the nation's economy. This, the Nigerian Navy says it is poised to combat. To this effect, the Navy Secretary, Rear Admiral Ferguson Bobai, said the service is set to increase its workforce in its recruitment exercise this year.
The Nigerian Navy recently have acquired some ships, and we do hope that in June this year we'll be commissioning more ships again, and the ships definitely have to be manned by naval personnel. So we need increased personnel. The recruitment was to take place on the 9th of April, that's Saturday this week, but we have shifted it to 14th of May because the number we are dealing with is quite massive now.
On the shift in the date of recruitment exercise, which had been earlier scheduled for this Saturday, Rear Admiral Ferguson noted that the postponement is as a result of the desire of the Nigerian Navy to ensure a well-planned and hitch-free recruitment exercise. KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
Borno State Government says arrangements have been concluded for the first phase of the reconstruction of Bama town, ravaged by insurgency, to facilitate the restoration of civil authority in the town. Governor Kashim Shettima, while addressing soldiers and civilian joint task force, said reconstruction of security formations as well as public structures and facilities will be accorded priority in the rebuilding process. Correspondent Mohammed Goni completes the report.
Governor Kashim Shettima, while addressing soldiers and the civilian joint task force, said fixing infrastructure such as schools, hospitals, police station and barracks, as well as army barrack, will commence soon in Bama town to restore civil authority in the township.
Until full peace is restored in the outlying district, we will not encourage the people to go back for now. We will not encourage the people in Gulumba or Banki or Dara Jamal or any of the towns to go back for now.
Already, 5 trucks loads of cement, 5,000 units of timber and 1 million blocks have been provided for that purpose, and in line with the state government's resolve to rebuild 1,000 houses in Bama town. The governor then announced donation of food and non-food items as well as 2 million naira for the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian army, and approved the payment of 3 months' salary arrears for the members of the civilian JTF. The entourage then inspected the reconstruction work on the local government secretariat, where the Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, Dr. Babagana Umara, said rebuilding Bama, the second largest town after Maiduguri, is an enormous task.
The owners of the houses will be engaged to ensure that they construct their houses by themselves. We will support them.
The governor had earlier inspected Kandaga local government secretariat and the LA offices. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
An appeal has gone to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure substantial compliance and implementation of the provisions of the nation's Electoral Act during Saturday's poll in the FCT. Some members of civil society groups made the appeal while speaking on the expectations during the exercise.
INEC needs to perfect its system well enough that the card reader shouldn't pose any challenge in the election.
Most especially for this election, they need to work closely with the security agencies to make sure that they prevent and mitigate violence.
The plea will be to politicians rather than to INEC. And why I tell you that is that if there are logistic challenges, it can be overcome. It's not fundamental. If materials don't come on time, when it comes, you do election if the environment is peaceful. So this winning at all costs syndrome must have to stop.
Elections must stop being, mini civil wars in Nigeria.
Well, NTA News Panorama is coming to you from the largest TV network. Children displaced by Boko Haram insurgency make case for their well-being. These and other reports after these messages. Stay with us.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
NTD's Panorama continues, and this report is tasking our sense of humanity as Nigerians have been urged to adopt some of the children of the victims of insurgency in the northeast, estimated at over 300,000. So one of the friends of the children of the victims of insurgency, under the auspices of Children Government of Nigeria, visited the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja. The Justice has details.
The children aged between 6 and 13, dressed in different attires to reflect the various agencies of government, came to the commission with the sole aim of drawing attention to the plight of children of victims of insurgency who are at various IDP camps. The president of the group, the 9-year-old Zainab Mohammed, said they were in the National Human Rights Commission to seek partnership on ways to rehabilitate these children who are growing up without love, no education, and no skills. She termed them as a time bomb, which could be worse if nothing is done to integrate them before closing these camps.
Some of them saw people hacked to death. They have seen wanton destruction, so to destroy to them is a normal way of life. So the day the camps are to be closed and they lose their residence permit in the camp, and their daily rations will be like opening the floodgates to hellfire.
But because 90% of them don't even have parents, they don't have relatives, they must have a place to call a home. They must have a family to call their own. The benefit of it is that those that are going to adopt them will also have their children go to school in a public school from wherever they are now today.
Retired Captain Jaro Musa, who lost 7 of his relations to the insurgency, says the need to support the children is urgent. Mr. Lambert Okpara, who represented the executive secretary of the commission, emphasized that children, as the hope of tomorrow, should be taken care of.
Indeed, the executive secretary has directed that henceforth we are going to be part and parcel of this your association.
They are asking for Nigerians to come out and adopt at least 1 child per family.
From the National Human Rights Commission headquarters, Maitama, Abuja, Edino Justice, NTA News.
Thank you, Edino. A 2-day vocational and entrepreneurial program has been launched by the presidency to prepare the staff of the State House for retirement. Permanent Secretary of the State House, Mr. Jalal Arabi, who announced this at a workshop for prospective retirees, said the program is to ensure that the staff are mentally and psychologically prepared for life after retirement. He expressed the belief that adequate planning will make life in retirement more eventful, attractive, and stress-free.
It's not anything disastrous. No matter your perception of life, you know certainly
every beginning has an end. I don't in any way intend demeaning any of our colleagues going into retirement, but I just felt we need to have a forum to remind ourselves that, look, this thing has come or this thing is coming. Please don't be in the lost ocean that, I don't know what to do. So it's more or less like a reminder for them to be assured that, yes, all is well. It's not the end of life.
81 prospective retirees are being trained at the workshop on livestock and fisheries management, personal finance, planning, and other useful skills and vocations. Still staying with the public sector, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has appealed to the Nigerian Labour Congress to rescind its planned warning over new electricity tariff in the overall interest of the nation. He made the appeal in Abuja in a message during the 3rd Triennial National Delegates Conference of the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies. Ngige noted that the dispute over the increment in electricity tariff is already before the National Assembly, and it is only right that as law-abiding social partners, all parties allow the National Assembly to arbitrate.
Sector is the life wire of this Federation of Nigeria. Without power, we cannot do a lot of things. So energy, actually, is contributing to the existence of man.
While assuring Nigerians of the federal government's resolve to ensure regular electricity at affordable rate, the minister wants everyone to support the government in its efforts to reposition and expand the power sector for effectiveness and efficiency. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ono, has assured Nigerians that the country will soon be the technological hub for Africa as the present administration resolves to strengthen the use of science and technology as instruments to diversify the economy and fight poverty. The minister gave the assurance at the second meeting of the Technical Advisory Committee of the National Research and Innovation Council held in Abuja. Justin Bem-Unyi has that report.
The council, which comprises 15 ministers and science stakeholders, chaired by Mr. President, was set up 30 years ago in recognition of the role of science and technology in national development. Not until this year that the present administration is passionate about diversifying the economy. The first ever meeting of the committee was held in January, and now the second.
If you notice, every administration since independence has always promised Nigerians that they will diversify the economy, and not one has achieved it because science and technology have not been allowed to play its vital role.
The Advisory Committee is the technical arm of the National Research and Innovation Council. The meeting, which is in tandem with a renewed enthusiasm to utilizing science and technology to develop Nigeria, is expected to further strengthen and actualize the vision in the new direction. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
The Joint Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Niger Delta and the Niger Delta Commission, NDDC, has given oil companies yet to pay their mandatory annual dues to the Commission 1 week ultimatum to do so. This was an interactive session between the committee, the NDDC, oil companies, and other stakeholders. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Ali reports.
The law establishing the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, makes it mandatory for all companies operating in Nigeria to remit 3% of their annual budget to the Commission. Majority of these companies are reported not to have complied with these provisions, which prompted the National Assembly to invite all the oil companies to the interactive session.
We have not paid fully 2014 and 2015. We were ready to reconcile with NDDC and to know what is actually due to us and have a payment plan with them as soon as possible.
The JV company, the TEPNG, has paid up to 2015, excepting 2 months, the last 2 months of 2015.
Consequent upon these findings, the committee issued a 1 week ultimatum to defaulting companies to reconcile with the Commission and agree on how to pay up.
We have achieved a lot because they have agreed to go and meet with the
NDDC to reconcile their accounts, and where there are shortfall that they will pay the money. And they have all also agreed and accepted the needs to fund NDDC.
I think that it's clearly a big help to us.
The Joint Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission says it will follow up the issues until all the oil companies comply with the provision and warn that failure will attract sanctions. From the National Assembly, Mohamed Ali, NTA News.
And our sports desk now, Nigeria's Super Eagles drops to 67 in the latest FIFA rankings as Super Falcons get ready to confront Teranga Lioness of Senegal on Friday. Details with Amanzi Marcos on Sports Update.
Nigeria Super Eagles have dropped to the 67th position in the latest FIFA rankings released on Thursday, compared to the 62nd position in the March rankings. The Super Eagles are the 14th best African side behind Algeria, Ghana, Egypt, Tunisia, Guinea, Cameroon, and Mali. In the world's top 5 are Argentina, Belgium, Chile, Colombia, and Germany. The Super Falcons of Nigeria are set to confront the Teranga Lioness of Senegal in the final round of 2016 African Women Cup of Nations qualifiers. Media officer of the Super Falcons, Remi Suluola, says the Nigerian ambassador to Senegal, Lord Egopija, has promised total support for the team. The team has continued to train ahead of their match, which will take place at the Leopold Sedar Senghor Stadium on Friday.
And based on myself and the coach's assessment of the group, I believe we are fully ready for the game coming up on Friday.
In what will be his last fight as a professional boxer, Manny Pacquiao takes on Timothy Bradley for the third time on Saturday evening in Las Vegas, USA. This will be the final opportunity for both boxers to settle any long-standing differences or debates, and for Pacquiao, an opportunity to go out with a bang after a glittering career where he has established himself as one of the world's greatest ever welterweight boxers. With Sports News Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Well, that's it on this edition of NTA News Panorama. Don't forget to join other news belts in the course of the day's programming. I'm Ogechipo. Thanks for watching.